Gosh. Hi. It is another Thursday. Is it like the second, third, fourth? I think it's like the third Thursday in this brand new year. Trust me, I won't be counting these down because I will forget after this month. But I want to welcome you to another edition of Travel the World as a Speaker. And today we're going to talk about hiring a speaking coach. Now, this show is brought to you by iFind You Clothes. You can go check us out at ifindyouclothes.com, where we actually research and find speaking engagements for people who are wanting to leverage speaking to travel the world, grow their business, or you know what, make themselves become known. That is what we do. So you can go check us out. We deliver speaking engagements or speaking opportunities every Monday. And yeah, we have plenty of them waiting for you to kind of toss your name in a hat so that you can get on stage. And when we are vaccinated and free and can lick each other, we can go travel the world again. Yay! And this is the year where you want to make sure you get all the ducks in a row so that you can travel. So we're going to talk about that today. For those of you on Instagram, now I'm coming to you on Instagram and YouTube. YouTube is our home. So I would love it if you help us get to 1,000. So if you want to see all the cool graphics, which I don't have any of today, come join us at ifindyouclothes.com/YouTube and make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you'll know what we're talking about. But for now, for everybody on Instagram, I have bunny ears or fox ears. I don't know. I can see why a lot of people decided to become Instagram influencers. I mean, geez Louise, Instagram makes you look better than what you really look like. Because I don't look like this. But I look cute though. I mean, minus the ears. So that's the cool thing about Instagram. So I'm going to actually go ahead and change this to something not as normal, but still makes me look great. So that's what we're going to do here on Instagram. So I've gone to Dreamy now. So I'm at Dreamy. For all of you here on YouTube, you just get the regular, I don't know. I tried to do my own little filter, so you get a slightly filtered version of me, but that is just me. Okay, so here are the rules for today. If you got questions, put them in the comment box on YouTube and on Instagram. I will be here back and forth on these different cameras. I'm going to raise you up here, my folks here on Instagram, if I can, which I can't. That means I suck as a camera operator. So you're just going to have to deal with where you are. So for my folks here on YouTube, hopefully you can hear me well. And, I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. Now, what we do here on the show, I talk about travel and speaking. Now, a lot of it is going to be how you can travel the world as a speaker and giving you those solid tips so that you can leverage your voice, so that you can use your ability to speak to go and travel, to market your business and all those fun things. The other thing is we talk about some travel stories, and every now and then I pop up with a travel story or two. And I think yesterday I told you about how I've never been to DC for real. I've only gotten the back seat tour, and I try to cram it all in, even when I have speaking engagements in the DC area. So one day I will be able to actually tour DC one day. And I was trying to think of, was thinking about what we're going to talk about today. So I didn't prep a travel story, I got plenty of them. The problem is I have so many stories, I just don't know where to start. So what we're not going to worry about it right now. Right now, I'm not traveling. I'm in my basement working on speaking stuff, hoping to travel. I will tell you this. Okay. I do have a travel dream at this exact moment. So I don't know about you. We've been on lockdown since last year, or depending on your level of lockdown, I stay to myself and things like that. So, and just been growing the business and, giving myself tons and tons of grace with doing all of this. We did take the RV out, but what is happening now is we're trying to figure out where we want to go as soon as we get the go ahead to go. And it's so hard. Because now I'm sitting here and there's so many places to go. And I told you, I got lost in the world of K-pop. So now I'm interested in going to Korea. I've been wanting to go to Japan for the longest because I was supposed to go to the Olympics. I was supposed to go to the Olympics last year. Now, the story behind the Olympics is, I guess this is the travel story. right before I got married, so it was my husband and I, when we were dating, I had done a lot of travel for my day job. So I had all these points. I had airline points. I had hotel points with Marriott. And I said, you know what? I'm going to the London Olympics. And what they do, you can't, because I was an outsider, and they stagger how they open up tickets for everything. And then, of course, I was trying to plan a year and ahead, because as soon as the calendar opened up, I was going to use my points, book the hotel. I was saving up the money. I was going to use the points for the airline ticket and everything. And then my husband proposed. He proposed the year of the London Olympics. And so, of course, I'm sitting there, got this ring, and like, oh my gosh, so excited. Like the next day, like, so, can I still go to the Olympics? And he was like, we should probably have a wedding. And like, So I said, all right, cool. We'll have a wedding, but you owe me. And so I put my eyes on the Brazil Olympics. And I have to tell you, every time I go to London, just tears, like I was supposed to be here. We're supposed to go to, so I put my eyes on the Brazil Olympics. I was planning, I was inviting people, like we're going to get a villa and blah, 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 blah. And he wanted to go sailing. And so we only had enough money to do one or the other, because the sailing was really cool. We went to Florida to learn how to, I know how to, I'm 100 hours into being a yacht captain. That's how crazy this all is. And I said, all right, cool. I will go sailing because I want you to be happy, because I love you. I love you. And I watched the Olympics from home, and I said, you know what? Screw this. I am going to the Tokyo Olympics. And because I had to miss 2 of them, I'm going to the Winter Olympics as well. And so I was planning on the Summer Olympics last year, and I know everything kind of canceled because of the pandemic, and of course I get to save a lot of money, whatever. And I think at the end of last year, I was just like, I don't think God wants me to go to the Olympics. The universe, the planet, somebody doesn't want me to go to the Olympics, but I will get there eventually. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out where we want to go as soon as we can go. And when you have too many options, oh my gosh, that's it's kind of crazy. Because I said I was going to learn the language of wherever we're going next. That's what I said I was going to do. And I've been pushing really hard to go to Costa Rica, but then I want to go to Japan, and then Korea just seems interesting to me because I want to go see all the lights. I want to go see all the things. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what language. And then of course I always want to learn French because I studied French for 4 years. So I have a leg up. I'm not great at it, but I can understand when other people are talking, not when I am talking. So, yeah. If you have any advice for me, just let me know, because I'm really curious on what would you do in this situation when you have this many choices, or do you just, keep the points and pray for the best and don't worry about it for right now? It's probably where I am. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this topic for tonight. If you got questions, put them in the comment box, because we're going to talk about hiring a speaking coach. Now, I know a lot of people hire speaking coaches for many, many different reasons. And this is where we got to start looking at all of them. So one, you will hire a speaking coach if you are trying to become better as a speaker. Now, if you're already speaking, you always should get educated to be better. Always, always, always. So you can hire a coach that way. Some people hire coaches to help them come up with their signature talk and how to craft a talk, all those kind of things. And we'll talk about those types of coaches. And then there are other coaches who work with the people who are just terrified of public speaking. Now, you have to first decide where you are on that spectrum. Are you terrified of public speaking, or do you just want to be more confident on public speaking? Do you think you want to be a speaker and you saw this class and you can get your signature talk and become the world-renowned keynote speaker? Or are you someone who's already speaking and you want to just upgrade and go to that next level? So you first have to decide where you are. And of course, there's always like in-betweens, but I will work with those 3 for the moment. And I'm hitting my microphone. I'll take me for an example. I will always take work with a speaking coach because All right, let me back it up. Let me back it on up. Back it on up. Yep, let's back it up a little bit. Should you hire a coach? It depends. It depends on where you are. So with those three things that I talked about, you have to decide where you are first. I will say for someone who is not particularly scared to get in front of people and talk, I did not hire a speaking coach in the beginning. I didn't think it was worthwhile for me. I am one of those that likes to jump head first into the fire. The more you get on stage, the more you speak in front of people, the better you will become, and then you will learn how to to be a better speaker. Now, at some point, I do agree you do need to hire somebody so that you can go from, okay, I've been doing a great job, but I need to do better, and then you need to go from I need to do better to I want to be amazing. I absolutely do think you need to hire a coach when you're trying to do that. And the reason why I say don't hire a coach now, for those of you who need more confidence or terrified, just hold on. I'm going to come back to you. But I'm talking about those of you who are not particularly scared to get up in front of people. Not that it's something you dream about doing every day, but you can get up in front of people. You can talk. You still get nervous, but you want to make sure that you're delivering very well. I will say for people like you, just get on stage and start presenting. You don't need a coach yet. And the reason why I say you don't need a coach yet is because when you haven't tested yourself out for a while, you don't know what type of coach you need. And that's where I really want you to pay attention to. You need to know what type of coach you need. Now, if you're just getting started and you are terrified, you need more confidence, yes, get a coach so that you can get from that point to where, some of us are right now. Get the coach because you want to be more confident on stage. But some of you, if you already have some confidence and you can get up there in front of people, I would say test yourself out for at least a year. And the reason why I say that is because now you are more educated on the type of coach you need. Because I honestly do hate when people spend money on the wrong type of coaches, wrong type of courses, wrong type of classes. I don't want you to do that. And the only way that you will avoid doing that is if you take the time to figure out what type of speaker you are. So that when somebody's saying, oh, I can help you become a better speaker, you can kind of evaluate them to see where they are as a speaker, who they have helped, and what has happened from that point on. Now, if somebody says, I'm going to help you be a better speaker, and all of their people are beginners, it's probably not the right coach for you. But all of a sudden, if you are running into people, like for me, I'm running into people who train people on doing TED Talks, not TEDx, who train people on doing TED Talks or doing, the big keynotes in front of like 1,000 person audiences. For somebody who's a beginner, that may not be the right person for you. So that's why I will say you have to really determine where you are. If you can get on stage and you can figure out your weaknesses or you're like, I need to work on that. That's how you find the right coach, because now you can come to somebody and say, you know what, I notice on stage that I do this a lot. I go back and forth or I pace. Every time I look at a video, I'm just pacing. That's how you figure out the type of coach you need, because now you could take that to a person and say, look, here's what I need to work on. And of course, if they add more to the table, that's even better. But you need to go in with the 3 main things you need to work on. Like, look, I need to stop pacing. 2, people tell me I speak way too fast. I need to work on that. And 3, people seem to like me, but things aren't really working out when I'm on stage. So that's the reason why I say you need to kind of figure out where you are, so you can figure out your 3 weak points so that you can find the right person for you. Now, for those of you who are already keynote speakers, I highly recommend you should be one of the biggest consumers of education of your craft. If you are a professional speaker, you're already doing keynotes, you need to hire a coach. And I'm not saying you need to hire like a 6-month program. You might need to just hire somebody for a weekend. Like, hey, we need to get together so I can refresh my skills so that I can just be a better speaker on stage. I have actually done that. And I do think if you want to keep progressing in your craft, you do need somebody to coach you. And this is going to be so important because you need somebody who's like 3 steps ahead of you, or 10 steps at that point. You need somebody who's further ahead of you so they can actually help you where you are. That's the thing. You don't want to hire people who can't see the vision of where you want to go and who haven't done what you want to do. Ooh, that's a hard one right there. I know. So I just want you to like take the time to figure out where you are, because I don't want you to be sold into something that you don't need yet. I don't want you to be sold into something that's just not a right fit. And we've all done it as business owners. We have spent money on things. It's like, it's not that the content was bad. It's not that the coaching was bad. It's not that the program was bad. Sometimes it just wasn't the right time. It was hands down not the right time for me to do that. And I'll give you an example of somebody I did work with in the very beginning of my business. And this was a sales coach. I mean, she was amazing. And even today, I use a lot of her tips, but I found her so early in the business, and she was probably way further ahead than she would have admitted. And I get it, as business owners, sometimes we'd be like, yeah, I can work with you. I'm just trying to make some money. And I mean, and I learned a lot from her, but I realized that she was too far ahead for me. I was not where I needed to be for everything she taught me to make sense. And it makes sense now. Like now it's like, oh man, she knew exactly what she was talking about, but it was too early on for me. And sometimes you have to just realize that it wasn't the right time. Like it wasn't that the program or the bad or the consulting was a bad. It was hands down, absolutely not the right time for me to take it. Even though I learned something, it's just, it wouldn't have been fully implemented. So that's where you really have to pay attention to where you are. This takes a little bit of self-reflection and a little bit of emotional intelligence to kind of know where you are so that you can find the right person. So for those of you who are deathly afraid of speaking and you want more confidence when you're on stage, I'm actually about to fix my camera here. All right, I fixed my camera just a little bit. Hands down, joining a program like Toastmasters is perfect for you. Toastmasters is perfect. Now, I'm not really sure how Toastmasters is handling themselves since we are all at home for the most part doing virtual things, but Toastmasters is amazing. Now, I spent 7 years in Toastmasters. It had nothing to do with me speaking. This was actually just part of my job, and I just wanted to go somewhere for lunch every week. But I have done a couple of contests for Toastmasters, and I was in the leadership side of Toastmasters. It is not a place for those of you who want to be keynote speakers. Is not where you need to be. But for those of you who are just wanting a little bit more confidence, you want to put your words together. It is an amazing organization, and it's a good organization for those of you who are still speaking and you just need constant reminders and refreshers and feedback. Hands down, love Toastmasters. You can also hire a coach if you just need more confidence on stage. And what you want to start looking for is not somebody who's going to help you put a speech together, so that you can go market your business and things like that. You really want somebody who's going to, push you to form your words, form your thoughts so that it can match your words. And you might do some practice speeches and things like that. So I have no problem if you need to overcome being confident on stage. And when I say being confident, I mean like, okay, when I get up and talk, I'm just whispering and nobody can hear me. And I'm like, and my stomach is cramping and I'm about to pass out. Those are the people who need confidence, a little bit more confidence. For those of you who are kind of above that, but you still want to not shake as much when you're on stage, that's where you have to kind of figure out where you are so that you can hire the right person. So at the end of the day, should you hire a coach? Depends on where you are. It really depends on where you are. For those of you who are professionals, you've been doing this for a long time, I think once a year, not necessarily a long coaching program or not 6 months, but for those of you hire a consultant like, hey, I just want to get together for a day and work on all of my talks. I want to work on my presentations. Yes, you need that. For the people in the middle, I would say people like me, of like where I am as a speaker, hands down, you might want to get a coach for a short term so that you can so that you can go from here to there. And I know at this exact moment I sound like I need a coach at the moment because I'm not thinking, but I'm live streaming. And I'm thinking and I'm talking, thinking and talking. I'm not doing a speech right now, but hands down, I do think you will need a coach if you're trying to go from, all right, I've been doing a lot of talks. I can get up in front of people. Now I want to do bigger stages. Yes, you will need a coach. Every time that I have kind of made leaps and jumps of where I am as a speaker, I will hire someone to work with me, to give me some guidance so that I'll know what I need to correct, because a lot of the speaking that I have been doing over the last few years was around kind of how to educational workshopy type talks. And I can do that because I come in, I talk to you just like a regular person, down to earth. When I started doing like TEDx type talks, I've done two TEDx talks, and I did my first big time keynote. That's when I realized, like, oh, Phylecia, it is time to get a coach. Because I had stepped out of my comfort zone. At that point, I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I realized it was time for me to get a coach, because what I did was okay. And I realized where my weakness was. Like, okay, I was able to get through it and I did great. But, if I'm going to keep doing this, I need somebody to work with. And I actually did start working with somebody to get a little bit more mentoring on being able to deliver even more dynamically on stage, as kind of a motivational type speaker, because that wasn't the realm that I was in. So every leap and little jump that I've taken, I have definitely gotten more help from people, because, I want to be a student of my craft, and I always want to be better. And as a business owner, as someone who's getting out there, you should be one of the very first students of your craft, and not take it for granted. That's one thing I will say, not take it for granted. But along this journey, you do need to figure out what your weaknesses are so that you can improve, because like I said, you don't want to work with the wrong person. And it's just like, okay, this information is just not working for me. You got to be in the right spot so that it really works for you and you can get the benefit, because speaker coaches, they ain't cheap. I'm just saying, they ain't cheap at all. At all. And of course, you do have other coaches that'll help you craft a talk. There's a lot of people you have to think about when it comes to hiring somebody. You can hire somebody to help you craft a talk, to help you pitch. That's what I do. I don't help you with the storytelling part. That's just not that's not what I do. I do work with other people that do that, but I can help you get the structure of what you want to talk about, because my job, my viewpoint is the pitch so that we can get on stage. After that, I say it's on you to deliver, to become that more dynamic speaker. I work with other people, and I do have a couple of coaches that I work with, even just for myself, that I get tips on. I'm like, okay, how do I transition from this topic to another on stage? So you will always have to become a student of your craft if you want to be better. You don't have to be. You can do whatever you want. All right, that's all I have for you for this evening. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment box. It's going to be a short one. It's going to be a short one, because tomorrow, what are we doing tomorrow? Does anybody know what we're doing tomorrow? You probably don't, because you are not managing my calendar. I know. And gosh, I mean, was anybody else planning to go to the Olympics this year or last year? I think they were trying to do it for this year. I don't know. I'm throwing some little side eye on whether or not they could pull off an Olympics over in Japan, because I really want to go to Japan. It looks like a really cool place. Okay, so what we're doing tomorrow, why you need a website as a speaker. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. So we're going to go over why you need a website as a speaker, and I'm actually going to show you my website. I think I've done that before. I'm not really sure. I can't remember all the things. It's a new year. Memories are for last year. So we're actually going to talk about why you need a website as a speaker, because right now you got to be able to sell yourself. I know. Got to be able to sell yourself. So hopefully you learned a few things when it comes to hiring a speaking coach. If you need one, you should get one. If you don't need one yet, just keep getting on stage and keep practicing. Practice is a really good way to get better on stage, because, when people boo you and tell you you suck, you'll figure out how to get better, right? Or you just stop. I don't know. I'm just one of those that's like, oh, wow, that sucked. And I just learned my lesson and know what not to do next time. I like to do trial and error. I self-inflict myself with experiments that I shouldn't do when it comes to testing out my nerves in public. All right. So with that, I'm going to sign off on Instagram first. So for everybody on Instagram, I appreciate you. Go check out ifindyouclothes.com. See what we got going on when it comes to getting speaking gigs delivered to you. Also, we are doing office hours tomorrow. They're absolutely free, but you got to sign up so that you can get access to office hours. Because what are we talking about? We're going to talk about events. We're going to talk about iFind You Clothes and how you can use it to find keynote stages so that you can hire a coach so that you can be amazing. I don't know why I keep knocking things over. Oh my gosh, stop knocking things over. I'm just going to be still. Yeah, so here's one of the things I learned when I'm on stage. I'm a rocker, and I had to learn how to position my feet so I won't move. I'm just weird like that. All right, so everybody on Instagram, take care. I will see you tomorrow. All right, everybody here on YouTube, I appreciate you for being here with me, hanging out. We're going to be doing this every day, so some shows will be better than others. Some I won't be knocking things over. Some I just won't look like a hot mess. And then some days I will be a hot mess, but it's going to be the best content ever. So take care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow evening. Bye.